Hello YouTube and welcome to our 22nd Unity 3D tutorial, and in this tutorial we actually have some inspiration from another game I play called Minecraft, which is very popular. So on Minecraft, when you chop down a tree for wood, which I thought we could eventually put into our game, because then we could use that wood to build stuff, but or we could trade it for money, which would then buy better weapons and stuff like that. But what I was saying is, when you cut down the tree, the leaves will eventually die and then give you a sapling. And this sapling is basically a tree seed. So you plant this tree down, and like 2 days in game time, and then the tree spontaneously becomes a big tree. So it's a tiny tree that becomes into one of these big ones, and then you can chop it down again. And this sapling is really tiny. If we look at our character, the sapling will probably be about to his knees, and when it's grown it will be taller than him. So it spontaneously grows. So what I was thinking is I would start experimenting with stuff, and then I found a simple, easy way we can put that into our game. So we get a small tree and get a normal tree and make it as small as his knees, and then over time let it grow, and then let it grow to such height, and then stays like that. So however, unlike Minecraft where it's just small then instantly big, what I thought is it would be small and then gradually get bigger, so you can actually see it getting bigger. I thought that would be really cool. So this is really simple to do, and we're not going to go into so much detail with it, but it's just 4 lines, and then we've got a growing tree that will eventually stop. So it's really simple. So what we're going to start is, we want to look what trees we have available. So if I click our floor and go to our trees, we can see we only have 2 trees, big tree and palm tree. You can go and download a model of your tree if you want it to work the exact same. You can do this with walls or buildings or anything, but I'm just going to use this tree. So I'm going to type in big tree. So there's our tree, and I'm going to drag it on, and I'm going to roughly put it about here. So as you can see, we have our tree. So get rid of it out of the search bar, and there we have a tree. So if we click it, we can move it around, and if you can't move it around and you move it around and it messes up, then what you want to do is, see here in the properties, you click the tree and it's got all the different properties how you make a tree. You've got the root, which is basically the stump of it, then you've got a branch from that, and then that carries on branching, and then it's leaves on top. So if you look at the tree from the side, you have a stump, tree on top, and then you have branches coming off with leaves everywhere. You can actually create trees in Unity. It's got a tree wizard, but we're not going to use that today. So if yours looks like, if I click that one, like that, and you can't edit it, then what you want to do is click this tree down here, click the stump, and then that. You may get this error here, but just clear it, that's no bother. So this allows you to move it around when you see the circle. If you don't have the circle, you have to click that, yeah. Put our lights back on. There we go. So as you can see, our stump has decided to disappear. Why has that done that? That's a glitch in Unity, so ignore that. That'll go once I restart Unity, but I'm just not going to do it now. So if we double click this, there we go. No, sorry, I closed the eye. So it's like Photoshop or something, just don't close the eye. Yeah. And my computer's been awfully laggy today. There we go. So as you can see from the scale, what we're going to do is make it really small, and then over time increase the scale of all vectors to make it bigger. Vectors are the X, Y, and Z. So if we place this tree near our character for now, so we can see the size of it, put that back where it was, because it was already on the floor. Oh, come back. Where is it? There we go. And go to our character. If we position it near him, we can see it's quite a big tree. But the trees on Minecraft are about as small as his knees. So the saplings are to his knees. So what we're going to do is position it here, and we're going to change the scale down. We'll start with the Y, so we'll just go, to save time as well, you don't have to put 0 point, you can just put point and it'll automatically add a 0. So 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. I think 0.1's quite good. As you can see, it automatically sets to 0. Make it all so it doesn't pixelate and look weird. Place it down. There, we have a small tree. So we place a load of these trees around and add a script to it and make it over time increase size like so, but not that fast obviously. So there's our small tree. So what we're going to do is call this tree big tree auto grow, like so, and we're going to copy that name and make a new prefab for it. Prefab auto grow. So then we can quickly just drag these trees around with auto grow on them. So now I've done that, we need to do the simple script. So go to our scripts folder, close all folders, and we'll make a new one, and we'll call this landscape. And then in this landscape we'll make one called trees, because we may have different behavior for trees. And in here we'll create a JavaScript and we'll just call this tree growth, like so. Growth, I'll put growth up here. Growth. Yes, I think that's right. I hope that's right. Rename this. There. And so now we've done that, we want to open up this tree growth script. And right, so to basically start this, what we need to do is whatever the size of the tree is now and increase it. So it is the same basis as we've done with position, so transform.position, but this is going to be transform.scale, except it's actually called local scale. So what we're going to first do is increase the size of the tree. So we'll call it transform.local scale, which basically means that's not a capital L. So yeah, and then what we're going to do, that's basically goes to the local scale of the object this is attached to. I don't know why you can't just put scale, but yeah, so that we're going to do plus equals, so whatever the scale is already, plus it and equals by a vector 3, so we want x, y and z positions, and here we have 1, 2, 3 points, like an instantiate but different. The number 1 will control our x, number 2 will control our y, and number 3 will control our z. We don't want it to grow weirdly, so we're just going to put all these as the same. And after a lot of experimenting, I found out that a good slow steady speed is 0.01. So it's not totally noticeable, like it shoots up, but it is just gently pixelating up, looking really cool. So we'll copy that and paste it into all of them, like so. And that, if we do that instantly, it'll just go tick and keep going forever. So what I need to do is add a time.delta time, which basically waits a couple of Unity frames, then does it, and then times that again, so it's not like every second frame. We want it to times by, I don't know, say 1, so it like every 1 or 10th frame it goes a tiny bit, a tiny bit, and tiny bit. So if we try this now, it'll just keep going forever and it'll never stop. So what we're going to do is add a quick if statement on the top of this. So if the transform of this local scale object, so our tree, dot, now here if we can either put the vector 3 and make sure all of them equal or is a certain size, which would mess up if one accidentally jumped up and others didn't. So we're just going to get one of them. So if our scale of x is less than, and for this we could say 4. So if we look back at this, there's our big tree and this is 0.1. So if we set it to 4, that's a reasonably big tree. A bit too big. I don't like 4. 3. Yeah, I like 3. So 0.1. So we have 0.1. So 3 was our good one. So 3 is a nice height for us. So just bracket these out. So basically what it does now is every frame, if the transform.local scale, so scale of our x-axis is less than 3, which it is because it's 0.1, then it increase the size by this much, but only once. So then it'll do it, check this again, is it under? Yes. It'll do it about 30,000 times, I don't know. And then when it equals 3, our x-axis equals 3, so that's a width-wise, then it'll stop all that and the tree will stay there. So, time to test it out, and hopefully it works. So drag our tree out of the way, so our character doesn't get hit by it if it does shoot up, even though it probably shouldn't. Oh, and ignore these errors again. And drag our tree growth onto it. There we go. So, maximize on play, let's try it. We're about to get shot by that guy as well. So, wait for it to load. As you can see, go away, go away, go away. As you can see, if you look at it compared to our character, it is slowly growing. Obviously, we might need to make it grow slower, which in that case I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But that'll keep growing until it reaches its maximum height. We still haven't put a collider on it yet, so don't think so yeah, we can still walk through it. I'm also going to slow the character down in a minute. Because if you remember last tutorial, we sped our character up to make it run faster, which so we can get around the map to see it, but then we never turned it back. So our movement, speed 48, that's too fast. I believe it was 12, I think. Yeah, let's keep it at 12. Anyway, so we've done that, but now the way we've left, well, yeah, to change the speed of it growing, we will change this, so times 0.5, so now it'll grow even slower. That's if I'm right. Otherwise, you might have to go up. I'm just going to mute the sound. There we go. So now it's going to go half a second every time. So basically, it'll do all this, but every 0.5, so it's like half slower than it was before. It's a bit tricky to get your head around that bit, but just change this value here to what size you want. You can change these if you want, but make sure you keep them all the same, or else you have a tree what's like very long on the x-axis, but like as big as a midget. I don't know. Yeah. So the way we've left it now is all trees are going to grow at the same speed and the same height. It's a bit no, because big tree. I'm pretty sure palm trees are bigger than our normal tree. So what I'm going to do is add two variables. Our first one, this is just basically an extra we can add, and we're going to call this the max total. Yeah, and this will equal to our size we want it to grow to. So this will be 3, so I'll put 3 here and lock it off. Copy our max total here. So if the x-axis is less than the max total, which is here, which equals 3, basically, then we can do it. And as you can see, if we save that and go back, click on our tree, when it loads, 3. So now if we change this to 6, it doesn't change the script, but it changes the variable, so we can attach this to different, like 50 different trees and have them all grow differently. Yeah, so what we could eventually do is add like a random integer to that. So like every time that's called, it'll randomize between 5 or 6 numbers. So it'll go between 2 or 5 different heights. So then we're going to create another variable for the speed of the growth. So if we just call this var growth speed, and we'll make this equal where it is at the moment, so 0.5. But if we do that, that's not going to work. If we go back in here and watch our variable, if I believe right, well yeah, but if you try to put 0.5, okay, it starts to work this time. To save a lot of errors, what we're going to do is basically an integer can't have 0.5s or whatever, and that'll defaultly set it as 0.5. So what we're going to do is just colon float, which basically allows it to have decimals, but it will still be an integer. I'm just going to put 0.5 because that'll save errors for later. Usually you can't put decimals in that. So if we go to our big tree and try our max total as 0.5, There we go. As you can see, if I press 0 point, it won't let me put a point in because it only has got to be that. I don't remember how max total being 5. Put 3 back. Yeah. So as you can see, you need to put the float there. I don't know why it did it last time. It must have been a small glitch, but yeah. So at the moment, it will check the max total. If not, it'll grow it at 0.5 or now our growth speed. So if we were to put this script on a palm tree, we could change these settings and it would still be the same for the other ones. So if we move this around, position here, yeah, and try again, it'll still work the exact same. As you can see, it is still growing very, very slowly, which is good. But then say we change the growth speed to about 4 just so we can see its maximum height very quickly. As you can see, it's definitely growing very, very fast. Leave me alone. As you can see, it's still growing. It'll eventually stop when it gets to the size we set, which I believe was 3. And what we can do is, like, if we chop it down now, we can only give our character 2 wood or something. But if we chop it down when it's full, we can give our character 5 or 6 wood. And, like, change the wood values depending on the size. Is it still growing? Yeah, still growing. And what we could do is, like, add a tool to our game, the axe. Like, have different inventories. So we, like, have a tools inventory, a weapons inventory. If any of you have ever played the new Family Guy Online game, which has just been released, that gives you 2 different inventories. You basically have your attack inventory and your social inventory. So your social one, you can, like, do armpit trumps and stuff like that, and then your attack one is like your laser pistols and stuff. So we could have different ones, so like our tools, weapons, social, stuff like that. As you can see, it's fully grown. We could still walk through it, which we can fix later. And fully grown tree, and it'll never move. So eventually when we chop it, it chops, chop, 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 and then it gives us our wood. So that's all good. So that's the tree. So we're going to drag this big tree into our prefab, like there, which we created earlier, place 10. There we go. So if we change this growth speed back to 0.5 so it doesn't automatically grow fast, there we go. And then we can randomly spawn these around our map just for a little bit. So there, 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 and one more there. There we go. So get all these and stick it in our landscape. No, not landscapes. We'll stick it in the floor because it does count as a floor, kind of. So now if we were to play this, we would have 5 or 6 different trees randomly start growing. As you can see, they're as small as a sapling, and they will grow. What we can also do eventually is, like, hide the leaves, and, like, when it gets to different stages, spawn a leaf or spawn a branch, and we can proper build the trees up. But that's good for a basic tree, I think. So what we're going to do now is disable the light, and quickly what we're going to do is put this water back into the ground because it needs to be put in the ground. So what I didn't know last time is we have actually already set our terrain height at 50. So if I try to go to 50 and try to grow it, as you can see, it's not moving because it's already on 50. I didn't know that, but yeah, I don't remember doing that. But if it isn't, basically, like we did for the first water, grow all the terrain upwards so we can just quickly add our water in. And we're going to take it down to around 40. We won't have such a big pool now, we'll have a medium sized one. What we're going to do is drop the height down. Boosh. Just do us a small little paddling pool. Well, a big river more like. So there's our little pool with our coins in, which we'll need to move the coins. Come back. Where's our coins? Yo. So we need to move this coin out of the way. Put it about there. Was that it? What's that? There's another tree there. Move that tree. There we go. Now what we're going to do is grab our water, move it here, and then scale it round, move it up and down, like we did for the water last time. So about there. Move it on top so it covers it. That's a bit too big. That should do. And if we go to the side, oh, too big. Well, we don't need it to be that deep, so we're gonna scale it down, and we're gonna put it just underneath, like so. As you can see, we now have a body of water, which looks insanely cool. So, turn our lights on. We have no lights there. We may have to put a light there, but yeah. Oh. I'm going to turn the tiling up some more, so 10 by 10, so it looks a bit more realistic. I don't know, the streams look a bit weird. 2020, there we go. There we go, we have a lake. We can delete this inside here because we don't want this. Oh no, why did that go? So we've got a water move alone. What's this bit? Oh, ignore that move alone. I've just remembered that's something I'm testing to make our characters automatically move about. So just ignore that for now. I'm going to stick that in centre here. So the walls. What walls? Oh, ignore them as well. That's for the move alone. Here we go. Right, so the water. Delete the water. There we go. Let's stick this water in our land floor. We'll stick this in the floor. So yeah, that move alone and the walls, that's basically makes our Shang Tsung here, a duplicate I've made, walk about, and if he detects collision he'll stop, rotate and carry on, and we can just stick him around a maze and he'll eventually find his own way around this maze. So it's using physics and lots of lines shooting from the character which we can't see. So it's really cool, but that will be coming up in a future tutorial. Not yet though, because it's a bit glitchy, and like sometimes when he goes to rotate, he'll like rotate upwards and then he'll start flying off into space even though he's got gravity. But yeah, or sometimes when the line's set to fire from a certain distance, like he'll sit there rotating on the spot madly trying to find a place. But yeah, so there's our water. So we may as well test it to see if we can actually get out, but first we'll put a light there, because we need our light. So where's the point light? There's one. Duplicate this, and drag it over here. Put our lights on. Not bad, that'll do. Right about there. So let's try it, and hopefully fingers crossed. As you can see, we have growing trees. As you also can see, this is going to take us a while to get there. Let's go. And I was also thinking we could stick an inventory down here or something, and as we press 1 to select a fireball, it shows up. As you can see, we have a big water. We could put some animals in here eventually. There we go, we have water. And if you... Yes, we can get out. Good. So, we'll eventually put some stairs in there to be able to get out. But, yeah, so that's all good. So, where's our trees? There's our trees. As you see, they are growing. And mine's lagging a bit. I don't know why. What's my frames per second? Well, that's not so bad. I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, that's growing. And that'll continue to grow very slowly. So, that's that. For a user... I don't know if this is real or not. I was talking with one of my user friends who I talked to, the Jack something, sorry I forgot your name, but check my subscribe list, he's there, he's called the Jack. We were speaking, and I'm pretty sure a user commented on one of my videos saying a suggestion for a weapon was an ice ball, but then when I went to find a comment to reply, it was gone, and so was the email. So I don't know if it was real or not, but if it was, please comment again and I'll answer or prove it, but that will be coming up in a future video. So thanks for watching, please like, comment and subscribe, and see you later.